of the shot blocking. I'm also wondering right now, Andrew, there's Leotopoulos trying one.
Lewis finally has his first field goal. Yeah, you've heard us talking a lot about missed layups for St. John's. Not one there. Here comes Lewis. Hello! Shot clock inside 10 for Richmond. Trying to bounce it in. Great defense by Ejiofor. And this is the problem. Transition. Rejected, but a foul.
I think they call miss.
St. John's is 1 of 7 and 0 of 4 from deep. And let's face it, that's not a huge surprise. They're not a very good shooting team as Lewis hits a 3, a big shot. Omaha's 3 of 14. St. John's is 2 for 9, make it 3 for 10. RJ Chris Crutchfield yesterday, he said the key for Omaha was to match St. John's' physicality. And they've done that so far, but RJ Lewis... Start of the second half here in Providence. The winner will take on Arkansas in Saturday's second round.
I think Rick Pitino probably ripped into these guys pretty good at halftime, if I had to guess.
Lewis a 3. And a good start to the second half for the... Osborne trying to answer. And Scott tracks down the rebound. 2-on-1 the other way. Lewis in Wiltshire. Lewis with the hammer.
St. John's.
Those are the first points off the bench for Omaha tonight. Lewis for 3. That's pure.
I'll tell you what.
It fell today. Steve Lapis put him on there. Lewis from the outside. It's good again. Lewis in the paint. Off glass for 2. Tough.
Ashworth baseline, rising fire. Here comes R.J. Lewis Jr. Player of the year. Drives. Jump stop. Oh my goodness. Nice pivot.
Dari Richmond knocked it away.
That's just the second foul of the game called against Creighton. Backdoor. Baseline. Ejiofor at the free throw line. Now Lewis looking for a shot. Dancing. Fading. Sweet. Ashworth. 8 to shoot. He lost it. Outlet. Richmond. He's got Sweet Lou trailing. Double pump. Count it. Sweet.
Down the biggest stage.
He's got 11.
Yep.
35-31. Yesterday it was Green for Coach Mack. Today it's McAndrew. R.J. Lewis. Inside, up and in. Zugi back on the Creighton bench after turning his ankle in the first half. Let's see if he tries to give it a go. 38-35. Baseline. R.J. Lewis Jr. Switch. It isn't here. He needs to be here.
I know.
47-44. Smith drives on Ashworth, hands it off. R.J. Lewis, easy but a roll. Richmond, Ejiofor, Aaron Scott, Lewis, Davon Smith. Here's Lewis, guarded by Neal. Crosses him over. Lewis sets for 3 and rattles it in. Lead of the game for the Red Storm. Baseline. Short. Davon Smith. R.J. He has a team-high 14.
And Gus, no hesitation. See where the pass was at that time? It was right in his shooting pocket, so he came off, sized it up, let it go, splash 3.
R.J. Lewis. And answers.
13, Gus. It was just a tie score.
And a steal. Lewis gets it. Swing Lewis. Inside. First layup no good from Frederick King. And here's R.J. Lewis who'll slow it down. St. John's showing great sportsmanship here.
You know what's interesting, Gus? With Auburn kind of backtracking, does this open the door?
The flag has heard it, Duke.
Yeah, but does this open the door for St. Johns to possibly jump from that on that seed line from a 2 to a 1 by winning the Big East. And
here's R.J. Lewis. Hezzy to the cup. Pump fake. Takes it down. Sweet Lou. Stevie Mitchell, semifinalist for the Naismith Defensive Player of the Year award. Here's Lewis, Player of the Year in the Big East. From Miami, Florida. Drives. Gets there. Draws the point game. Joplin turns it over. Richmond. Convoy. Baseline. Nice look. Swing.
Backing the defense off the swing. Not settling for a three-point shot.
Fifth tie of the game. R.J. Lewis has been quiet offensively as of late. Gets to the hole. Backdoor Lewis. Bang.
He's learned over time as Ejiofor claims an offensive rebound, best in the conference at that. Wiltshire misfires another chance, flying in. Scott with the board. They leave the open man. It is Lewis in the corner for three.
You get to that point, now the defense recovers. Good job by St. John's, though, to cover that.
Lewis will tee it up and knocks it down. His second three of this first half.
And that's
so Ejiofor now with 6 boards. Transition opportunity leads to a wide open look, but Wiltshire can't can it. Offensive rebound and put back. Lewis. Helfer looked like he already put it on the deck. He's going to put it on the deck again and had it taken away. Doubled by Scott, forced the turnover. Lewis hangs and puts it through. Nearly 5 minutes into the second half. And a turnover. The step in front. Scott the steal. Good recovery by King. Smith back in, lob it inside, and Lewis finishes. See if Butler has one more run in them. Iwuchukwu, physical. Oh, the follow! Lewis!
hard to play with a big lead. It's hard to keep that same intensity, but I think to level up and to be a championship team, you have to continue to keep your foot on the gas.
Lewis back down, spin. Telforth's been playing with 3 fouls, and Lewis sneaks it in. Specifically when he went to Greece and coached overseas, says that this NIL era is eerily similar because of the length of the contracts, and you have to basically start your team over every year. That's how it goes with international basketball as Lewis shows up.
R.J. Lewis Jr. hanging, gets his own miss, puts it home. Can't have everything on your birthday, Ron. 13-footer off the mark. There's Lewis. Man's rebound right there. Look at it, just fighting his way. That's Lewis on the offensive glass. How about Jones? No. And the other way, R.J. Lewis, well, right on cue. Scott lines up a triple. Long rebound, though, offensive to Richmond. Ejiofor down. Got a lot of bodies on the deck here today. Another three, and finally one popping. Good second half for Ben Gold. Marquette back on top. Really struggled in that first half. He's turned it around after the break. Lewis, all of a sudden the three. Well, today St. Johns is hitting well at the line, and that time Gold gets 2 for Marquette. Good cut by Lewis, and what a reverse by Lewis. He missed the second. St. John's down by 2. Shot clock off. 17 to go. St. John's has got to get to the rim here. Put the onus on the defense. Lewis inside. Yes! And we're not playing. He's not moving very well either. And that fall got him pretty good. Iwuchukwu hasn't played a ton of minutes today or really on the season. Gives it up to Lewis. Lewis is going to drive this. He's going to take Cam Jones. Nice pulls, and he drops it down. Here's their go-to guy, Lewis. Euro step. Oh, but he taps it home. And that sets the crowd back.
At the Garden last year. See, the only thing, the problem is depth late. They got to maintain balance. Don't foul. Nice back cut.
Big finish
Businesses.
League Bay. Baseline delivery doesn't go. Rebounded by Lewis.
And nice balance. So
Lewis.
well screwed defensively.
Looking for an opening. A running one-hander go.
Really busy without the ball.
League Bay look to the post.
Tough shot.
Bill Hoist. Off the heel. Rebounded by Lewis. He snatches it.
Much as he's not happy with that shot. That's not his game.
One dribble and a J. Look at Lewis straight away.
I like this side to side. Good ball. No, they jumped the pass the way.
Lewis, look out. Lewis, the two-handed hammer. From Cheers. 28-27. Pirates. Richmond backdoor. Smith, extra. Lewis. Got him. A three.
Dean Smith.
Richmond, shake and bake, pull up. Slam down! R.J. Lewis is a... Coleman, swing it. Adewusu, little bump. He gives it away. Lewis on a race to the rim. Lewis, the crank!
Two-point scoring and the points on turnovers.
Richmond, the reigning Big East Player of the Week, and another turnover by Butler. Numbers the other way. Lewis, the jam! Wow, stuff there. Tied a season high with those 11 blocks. Great save by Smith.
Smith is a tremendous athlete.
Scott in the corner feeds Ejiofor. Here comes the double. Ejiofor sends it out. Lewis, a three. It's good. R.J. tonight. And a bad pass there and a turnover.
Two guys converged on that pass.
Lewis cutting, scoop shot, yes. R.J. Special places in college basketball, and this is one of them. As Smith misses, Smith gets it back. Lewis for three. It's good. R.J. Lewis. The voice of the Bills and former NFL punter John Kidd. I'll tell you what, the NFL Combine going on here in Indy as Lewis lays it in.
21 turnovers.
Tonight, they have 10, and Butler has its first lead since it was 3-2.
And they are forcing St. John's to play half court.
Lewis trying to put St. John's back in front, and he does. 3 years. They do that with a win tonight. Telford off the front of the rim. Richmond races up ahead. Taps it for Lewis for the jam.
Taste of their own medicine, a little bit more active with their hands. Second offensive rebound, second chance to get another basket inside the paint for UConn.
St. John's starting 0 for 3. Smith turns the corner, cross court. Baseline, R.J. Lewis. But this time, he knocks it by 26. Connecticut needs stops on defense. Samson Johnson back in, starting at the Smith wraps it around. Lewis, high, arcing jump shot, goes home.
Like St. John's.
Smith. Splits, lost it. Track down Scott before he got to the midcourt line. To Smith. Shot clock at 14. Baseline. Lewis. Smith.
Wow. Isaac Trout. Well, Greg McDermott told us pregame, if Isaac Trout can knock down shots, we become a great team.
I told Coach McDermott, just from experience, my experience as a player in college, in the NBA, this building, when you're not shooting great, you come here, for staff have pulled out of him.
This battle on the glass, Donnie's fascinating. Creighton is 4th in the country in defensive rebounds. St. John's is 7th in offensive rebounds.
Grueling one, just like a lot of teams go through, but when you play as many minutes as a guy like Ashworth, it catches up to you, especially this time of year.
Big spot for the freshman Ty Davis. R.J. Lewis on top of the key triple.
when you're in a power conference. This league, this time of year, you got to throw the records, throw the numbers out the window, and watch the game in all its beauty.
Here's Wiltshire off the edge of 4 screen. With 10 on the shot clock, it's Lewis. Lewis elbow. Good.
That lift.
Neal, Green, Ashworth, King. And a turnover here. McAndrew for Creighton. Here's Smith to Ejiofor. Off to Lewis. Creighton just 6 of 25 from 3. St. Johns, they've matched them in the made threes department. Not the case in the first meeting where they only made 2 on New Year's Eve. With 7, it's Lewis. R.J. Lewis, Euro, pretty. And there's the attack to the rim by Kadari Richmond. And now a turnover on the inbounds to Wiltshire.
They're so dangerous and ready.
Lewis.
This is a timeout.
How about that for a start?
They generally come from the weak side and stop that and help the defender on that dribble drive. Nobody at home.
Here's Lewis. He had 30 in the first meeting between these two teams. 1 of 6 tonight, though. He struggled.
And not getting to the free throw line at all.
He's just 5 attempts. He got there 20 times in the first meeting. Oh, here he goes. R.J. Lewis. Numbers.
Look at this pass. Smart play. You didn't have it.
Scott. Long. Richmond tapped it to Lewis.
How about that play?
The Johnnies never stop.
Visual.
He is a tank.
There's Ejiofor again, begging. Look at this.
Look what Lewis found. Hammer time.
They take it.
Iatopoulos, who made a 3 in the first half, remains in with Scott, Lewis, Ejiofor, and Richmond.
A nice little play for the lob and the step out.
They got it to Lewis.
Well done. Boy, they run some.
Solo ball coming off that 25-point game against Marquette. He's turning a lot of heads in college basketball now. Didn't play a lot of season ago. Lewis, 16-footer straight away, and it's
position. All you have to do is square your shoulders up. The ball is put right into place, but now you just catch and shoot.
St. Johns 0 for their last 7, and R.J. Lewis ends the 8-0 run for the Red Storm. Under 8 to play, first half. R.J. Lewis, a 16-footer. Got it, rattles down.
Pass there, you got a ball fake, create space, get it out, because this is a long, athletic St. Johns team that forces you to be very uncomfortable offensively.
Inside, nice catch. R.J. Lewis muscles his way up and in. Woo! Baseline, R.J. Lewis, and he rattles in another. Liam McNeely, that must have felt good. UConn takes a 48-42 lead. His first 3 of the game, he's 1 for 6. R.J. Lewis trying to get to his sweet spot. Inside, pull up. Got it. There's that sweet.
Take away from you having the ability to stretch this lead out, at least get quality shots at the rim.
Remember I mentioned Khalid El-Amin, that's what they need right now. Lewis, bang.
They'll take Tristan.
Run it back in 2 weeks at the Garden. First time we've heard the Let's Go Huskies tonight. That's what it feels like. Lewis, free throw jumper, and good.
It's not at all. More mid-range, less threes.
Bigger, you can win a game that way.
Yeah.
Lewis, down the lane, hard dribble. Stop and start. Ducks in, off the window with an English. Richmond serves as the inbound. 3 seconds on the shot clock. They find Lewis, baseline J. Yeah!
It's about helping the helper.
Nice play. Nice steal here. Lewis wisely. You can't relax. Either flip. Just take that little jumper.
Jones the trailer.
I don't know why Zappa didn't take it first.
Lewis on the gas pedal right down the sideline. He had that the whole way.
How about to get it right?
It is. It is. And it's important that we be able to bring some levity when they don't.
And your ridicule is
okay.
Nice.
Lewis well caught.
And again, they didn't face the ball.
Cam Jones got 2 fouls about 5 minutes in, and all Marquette has done is lead by 6.
Tells you the quality of players they have and the skill on the bench as well.
Lewis just tunneled in.
A prime-time player getting a cheap foul, but he should have known better. Lewis zone again.
Lewis, first 3 tonight.
Got to run some people out of here. There you go. Now.
Scott's got a hit ahead. Edge of 4. Lewis the tackle.
Something they do, they disrupt you.
Kim English told us before the game he wants to try to limit the turnovers to 10 today. 1 possession, 1 turnover for the Friars. R.J. Lewis for 3. Ball tipped right back out to Smith. Lewis all alone for 3. Joseph in transition. Bad pass and another Providence turnover. Threw it right to Richmond, who's in transition. Lewis left alone for 3. This one is good. They average 6 per game. Pierre turnaround, way short. Richmond catches it.
What a great job by Ejiofor staying on Pierre.
Lewis for 2 more.
2-point shot, and they were not up on him.
6 threes for Abdur Rahim. Lewis, a 2. Friar fans here making some noise.
St. John's got to figure out what they want to do in the half court.
Richmond continues to sit. 3.5 to go. Lewis, tough. Step back is good.
You St. John's, you got a guy like Kadari Richmond who's a playmaker.
Most of the Garden on its feet. 40 seconds to go. Lewis, a jumper. Good!
You're going to need some help off the bench.
So 2 weeks after they meet at Madison Square Garden, a 5-point St. John's win in which they were down by double digits at halftime. Now the rematch in D.C.
It's interesting, this zone, the way you beat it are the lines, John. Shot.
Well, it's something that Rick Pitino was looking at the last couple of weeks. He watched Kadari Richmond film from Seton Hall because he's had some offensive issues this year, and Rick wanted to see if he could get him back to that version. But that's what he's been the last couple of weeks. They've gotten into the lab. Lewis. R.J. Lewis is a tough shot maker.
Tell you what, we may only see him 10, 12 minutes a game, but Coach Cooley's seeing him every single day in practice and how he's getting better. And you're rewarded for that.
Lewis, what a dish from Wiltshire. 10-1 Red Storm run. And now Peavy slow to get up. Up ahead to Lewis with one hand. Touch Red Storm team. Now on their way to 13-1 in the last 14. What is it about them that can make them dangerous come March?
Yeah, versatility. Defensively, they can switch really all 5 positions. Look at the size on the floor right now for them. I mean, this is... Love guys like McKnight because you feel a toughness from them, not just in them running your team, but their physicality.
Absolutely.
And it spreads.
You love the edginess.
Yeah.
I mean, that was your game.
Yes.
I said that about you a whole bunch of times.
And he's brave. He's tough. Fortune favors the brave, Dave. We know that. And if it comes from your point guard first, easy to follow.
Finally a bucket for our...
That was a tough angle there. I didn't see a Fremantle hand come in on that shot.
Pushing that 5-second count. Lewis, determined, and he gets to the hoop. Conwell, that off arm, he's a lefty. He went to the right, couldn't finish. He got popped in the mouth. Numbers hit for St. John's. Lewis, going to the glass, lost it on the way up, recovers and scores. Here at the Garden. Fremantle. Right hand. He's been going to the right hand all day.
It was good D because he could have shot the first one and he tried to step through, made it tougher.
Lewis, much better second half. Scoreless first half. Leading scorer, third leading scorer in the conference, and that's why St. John's 61-60. And a steal and a putback by Lewis.
A distinct advantage, and he can go up point guards out on the perimeter as well. Jenkins, and again, St. John's forces him into a tougher shot. And the Hall struggling, which is not uncommon, to get that first hoop to go down. The fans still standing, 2.5 minutes deep. Lewis with a nice adjustment. Trying to get some baskets in transition. Everything but the finish. Edge of 4 clears.
He had Jenkins number 2 in black in the right corner. Missed him.
RJ with a payday from down.
And get it done. And he's added Aaron Scott now. Gives him some greater length. RJ Lewis is back. He's long and athletic. And Zuby Ejiofor has just been amazing on both ends of the floor with his versatility.
The only area I disagree with you is this has got to be his poorest three-point shooting team of all the teams that I can recall he ever had.
When I think of Patino, I think defense.
That's true, no doubt. But he's the guy that turned the three ball into something popular in the college. He was the first Pirate on the Big East freshman team in a long time, since 2015.
More full court pressure from Seton Hall. Got to get it over and look to score. Nice.
Bray with a nice pass to Lewis. Ball for Tubeck. Shaheen's going to his bench early and often, trying to find any combination he can. He's very frustrated with the way his team is playing offensively. Lewis again. Oh, the iron cut. Your point, it does look as though he's moving a little better now than he did 2 minutes ago. There's a steal by Lewis. Right over Coleman and slams it home.
Social media these days. We just had a print newspaper back in our day. And I'm sure social media exasperates it. 2-on-1 here, lob coming.
Smith right back to RJ. Pass that Richmond made. Edge of 4. Little pump fake, could not get it to fall. And yet another loose ball run down and speared by Richmond. Lewis pumps for 3.
13 offensive rebounds that have led to 11 second chance points.
And there's another example of what can happen. Lewis, little.
That's tremendous work.
Back with tempo. Richmond took it from him. 7-point turnover. And just 4 back to Richmond. In the corner, Lewis. He's been quiet, not anymore. For them, and I'm going to go with Josh Allen and the Bills. Just a gut feel. Lewis with authority. And 11.
Wow.
Donnie Marshall is out of his seat. Lewis off the window.
Last few seasons, a team, like coaches like to say, will punch them in the mouth, figuratively, not literally. How do they respond? Well, that's a response right there by Fielder.
Back in the 80s in this league, they did it both literally and figuratively.
Yes.
And these two teams could do it. Lewis knocks it down. Is back to 14, just like that.
So again, you know, for St. John's, you know, there comes a time where your coach starts yelling, you got to have some pride individually, defensively. Georgetown's making some big shots, but you got to get your work done early. Make them uncomfortable, and they just, right now, Georgetown's just too comfortable.
Lewis hits. Cooley juggles this. Wilcher. Tough shot, short. Scott with the offensive rebound.
What a beautiful rebound by Scott.
Lewis glides in. RJ Lewis. What they determined. Double bonus for the Red Storm. Any Hoya foul means 2 free throws. They trap. Scott to Ejiofor. Ejiofor got it across half court into the hands of Lewis.
Don't need a foul here. You've gotten to this point, no silly fouls.
Lewis! RJ Lewis!
It'll be Richmond to inbound. R.J. Lewis off the screen. And the Red Storm are on the board. Brickus turns it over. Top bounce pass.
Bad decision there.
Put his finger up right away to say, my fault. Ejiofor to Lewis. Tied. And now St. John
using the screen. He was the screener, and they forgot about him.
Richmond locates Lewis down low. Lewis off glass for two. To open up the second half.
And you know the pace of the game, slow. St. John's would rather get up in transition. Now they've got to play a lot more half court. And that's what's going on now. And Villanova plays pretty good defense in the half court. Gotten much better. Not allowing penetration.
6 to shoot. Lewis from the free throw line knocks it down. And a big shot for St. John's. The night as the shot clock was expiring. Lewis trying to answer. Yes!
Able to help on that, not let him just drive it. Ejiofor was afraid to leave Dixon on that.
Inside 6 minutes to go. Lewis for three. It's good. RJ.
They've got to continue to do it.
Down low, Ejiofor. Oh, there for the tip in, the follow good. McKnight leads in, gets it to Conwell for three. Didn't get it. Swain had it ripped away by Richmond. Numbers for St. John's. Wiltshire hands it off to Lewis. Lewis with the right hand. That's good.
You kind of swung at it. Anytime the official sees you swinging down, it draws their attention. It's a good call by the official.
Lewis got free from the baseline. His jumper's good.
For mistakes with the basketball.
Swain almost gave it up again. There's McKnight for three.
They are now 2 of 14 from three for a team that shoots 40% from the three-point line.
12th in the country. Lewis falls away, knocks down the jumper, and does it backwards down another board.
Xavier's got to continue to force St. John's to take jump shots and keep them out of the paint. Size advantage here.
Lewis backing down. Lewis inside.
Yeah, he's at
and Jordan Love, who got dinged up last weekend with that elbow.
Yes.
How's he going to be this week in Philadelphia? Find out. 18-point game right now. Can Xavier force some jump shots and one and dones? Lewis around the edge. Lewis bleeding in with the left hand. Fancy.
And that's where they're so good.
Big East are caretakers of Luke Connor's second legacy.
Here's a turnover. Richmond the other way. Lewis hard to the basket, laying up.
Well, early on, St. John's won a lot of games in the second iteration at Butler.
Too easy on the inbound.
St. John's defense, but if you're Butler,
mismatch. Brooks powers in, blocked. Davon Smith. Lewis finishes the play.
And their best offense has been the trend, flying around and recovering, and the refs are letting them play. There's been some contact, but they're letting them play down low, which I like.
Here's Lewis. Pull up, mid-range jump.
Pass it off.
Ejiofor with the touch is Lewis. Blow by Brooks and gets it to go.
Full court pressure here by the Red Storm.
Oh, he dribbled right into the double team. Here's Lewis. Hammer time.
Court. Moore cut off, turned it over.
3-on-2. They got numbers here.
Davion Smith. Trailer. Lewis and the done.
Lewis is banged up. Keep an eye on him. His ankle, it seems like he tweaked his ankle.
He's done that a couple times today. Brooks foul his first. Brooks in traffic. Make that Lewis in traffic.
After setting the screen and bad rotation by St. John's and a big-time finish, Butler drops back into that zone again, mixing their defense up.
Screen with 6, under 5 to play. Regulation. Oh, look at that one.
Conference. And this team 19th in the country in defensive efficiency, and Creighton turns it over again. And when St. John's runs, big things open.
Smith needed to force Ashworth into that screen. And it ends with a lob.
St. John's just 2 of 8 from downtown. Lewis off one dribble. Career points.
Great set out of the timeout from Greg McDermott.
R.J. Lewis answers. Of Christmas. Now down 5.
You better believe Ejiofor is going to come after whatever shot goes up on the rim to try and get an offensive board.
Lewis drives with the left hand. R.J. Lewis, how did he get that to go? Timeout, St. John's. Scramble for it after the active fans of Richmond. Kadari Richmond never stopped with his activity there.
Well, he's got long arms and a great sense of when to strike at the ball.
Lewis strikes.
One of the few transition baskets that Delaware has had, but they are trying to get some momentum going into this half. Down 16. St. John's getting everything they want.
R.J. Lewis cleared for takeoff.
He got a chance to meet Ron Artest, great St. John's forward. Ron Artest visited Notre Dame in high school with Martin. Even though Ron wasn't going to Notre Dame, he was going to St. John's. He wanted to, I guess, see what the campus looked like, and got a chance to meet Martin on the visit.
Lewis hits. R.J. Lewis. Miles is done. He didn't mope. He didn't pout. He handled it maturely, and he's been a great leader for this team since.
That's right, and he's a senior, so he knows what is expected of him. He doesn't want to let down his coach or his teammates.
Lewis.
What? He is not just getting wide open. He's moving without the ball. They're looking for him, and he has got a quick release. Good interior passing there.
5 have averaged in double figures. That's been the case again tonight as Riley is off. Richmond with the rebound. A dish ahead to Lewis. R.J. Lewis says, in the face, approves.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that Coach Pitino was not happy with, and it's their three-point defense. Camden continues to get open shots because they're looking for him, and he's got that quick release. And on the night, Delaware is shooting over 40% from 3.
And that's been their strong suit as Lewis hits again.
And easier said than done. This is the fast lineup, if you will, for St. John's with Smith, Richmond, and Lewis in there as the guards and wing. And Zuby Ejiofor is the one guy I think you got to keep an eye on. He's their energy guy to start the game.
Well, you can see Bonk stopped him right there at the elbow, coming out to give help. Shot clock at 10. Loose ball. Recovered by Lewis. It's going up. You know it's going up with him. And nothing but nylon. He's got 8. Providence by 1. Just an electric atmosphere as you've come to expect here in Providence, the original home of the Big East Conference. Richmond giving it up. Here's Lewis. Looking to run that curl. There's that block out there trying to keep him out of the paint, but he's just on fire by Richmond. Lewis with the follow, like he shot in the open floor. Great work by Lewis again. He's everywhere. Almost turned it over. Shot clock at 5. There's a steal. Richmond, Lewis, rising and 1.
Benson and Trainer right there at the same time. Wow. I thought it was going to be a turnover. It was so high.
It felt like almost a double oop. It almost happened. Balls made 4 in a row. Lewis, tough bucket. At 8 Eastern, all on Peacock as part of our quadruple header here tonight. Another turnover. Here's Lewis, coast to coast. Lewis, long stride for 2.
Again, you know that live by the 3, die by the 3. We're kind of seeing that now. Them looking for other ways to try to find points against a really good defensive effort by St. John's.
Lewis forced it in beside himself. No fan or coach interference call. Instead, St. John possession Approaching 90 seconds to play the first half. Smith stops, shovel, Lewis, the J.
It's a pretty thing.
Gun for three, too strong. Rebound, Benson. Second chance, trying to go up strong, had it stripped. Smith looking to run. Leave it. Oh, no look to Lewis.
Your passes with anything you run against the St. John's defense tonight, and it hasn't been there for DePaul.
Oh, nice job getting out of those two losses in a row. I'd take the second Providence with a win against Wichita State this weekend. But Lewis has come alive after coming off. Trainer up high for the rebound. Myers three ball, short.
And that's DePaul basketball. They spread you out. It was really one of the first possessions we've seen them do it all game.
Silky's
triples because you can't pitch shutouts every single night.
Barry Evans putting it on the deck and driving, misfires, edge of four with a board. And St. John's just 33% from long range in the season, but the last three games coming in, 22%. How about they'll go aggressive 3% from the field? And it's the Red Storm by 4. Evans hangs, double clutch, still got it off while in the air. And the rebound to edge of four.
They're still getting instances where they're getting close, and that's my guy.
And now you got Phil Jr. coaching. Phil Martelli Sr. was so excited he finally got to watch his son coach in person at Drexel a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, it's so cool, and you sit here and you labor just giving them and you just can't get the three-point shot like that. I'm sure they'll address that, but as you mentioned, just having got to get your hands up against that young man for sure.
Withers not able to stick that three. Wiltshire going with purpose to the corner. Lewis thought about another triple try. Extra pass, Smith. An alley there. He'll kick. Patience here for the Red Storm, and it pays to lay it in.
This is eye-opening for me, given what happened, and you mentioned in the opening about a letdown after that great win against K-State.
Lewis pulling up.
So talented. Got to get him going.
Pin zone. Good defense by Scott. Forced him into a bad pass. Lewis the other way.
Deep in the country, particularly Withers. He's going to finish that all day long, and there he is with the jam sandwich.
Lewis. Nice look.
I mean, they really need for him to get going. Not just today, but once conference play starts at 6'10", he's got to do some work, and it can't be just on the perimeter.
Nice dish and a flush by
this season for St. John's.
From the perimeter there, Jones a little strong. Hawkins trying to stop, but he cannot because R.J. Lewis went right to the rim and scored it. Jerome Tang was saying, bring the ball over here and call a timeout. Hawkins had other ideas. Lewis has some ideas of his.
Reason Lewis got deflected, kept it alive though. Find a shoot. Lewis down low, denied. Third chance, and he scores. Well, they steal. Here comes Hinton right to the basket with the left. And St. Johns with the rebound. They got numbers. Down low, it's Lewis with the flush. They give up 52 points in the paint of the 62 scored for the Minutemen, and then you face Rick Pitino's long and athletic St. John's squad. Not the easiest of matchups. The threes are going to be vital for the Crimson to stay in it.
Oh, there's no doubt. And Frank Martin is one of the absolute toughest.
Johns with the lead here against Harvard. Knocked away. Lewis with the steal from the blind side. Right to the basket, and a little caught up between the dunk.
These players, right? I mean, he's been through it all. He's been the star of the league. He's had to sit out years. He's had to move around. They got an outstanding staff. Matt Verschill, an outstanding young coach on that staff that played at Harvard. Tommy Amaker's always surrounded himself with really good people.
Towns played over the course of 8 seasons, missed 4 of 5 at one point due to those injuries. As Lewis fades away, and
that Brady Dunlap coming out of the timeout. Make a great kick out on the second shot.
Oh, Lewis was deflected, gets free for the lefty scoop.
To a 4-point game.
Richmond inside out with the floater. It's the rim, Etchafor. He does too. Third chance for St. John's. Lewis contested. Nails it for three.
Nice three. Don't rush. Don't panic. Keep getting good looks and don't give up a layup like that.
Out of a timeout. Lewis. Boom. It's top. And another. Now gets it. Pick and pop three. Way short.
Yeah, he fell back. He's not ready to shoot the ball and his shoulders go back.
Oh, what a save. And Lewis with the cleanup.
11 a.m. local time start here in the Bahamas in Richmond. A little short. Offensive rebound and a nice stick back by R.J. Start, but you said you were really impressed with Georgia, and actually you've kind of changed your expectations for this Georgia team. You think they're even better than you thought they were coming in.
Exactly.
Win, I know.
It'd be gigantic because St. John's top 25. Here we go.
John Knees. Here they come.
Here we go.
And that's neither team in the bonus just yet. And another turnover. That's number 17. And Lewis, this time uses glass, lays it in, and St.
Plays all positions on the perimeter.
And now a 10-0 run, the biggest run of the game on either side.
Yep. Well, the top scorer.
Lewis got it.
Wow. A tremendous score. Mentioned before, they had 18 the other day against Marquette.
And there's Lewis for the tie.
Able to dig deep and get that energy after playing 50 minutes if you're on the St. John's team.
Already the second swat for Ejiofor. Here comes Lewis with a fantastic.
Virginia team, though, they're much more aggressive trying to score. It seemed like everyone last night was just kind of passing the ball around the perimeter, looking for someone else to do the job. And now they're all kind of being much more aggressive, and it really helps their offense.
This is an 8-0 run put together by the Cavaliers. Wilcher watched by Murray. Now to Lewis for three. It's good. Rick Pitino. Rhodey, baseline, skips it into Murray. He's stripped. Another transition chance. Scott, alley-oop. Lewis powers. Wheel route.
Yeah.
Well, he's got 5 triple-doubles in his long college career. St. John's, his 4th program, and he's always on triple-double watch. He always seems to put up big numbers in the points, rebounding, assist categories. Lewis, free throw line jumper on target.
You know,
takeaway for St. John's. It's been the theme of this opening half. Scott for three. Put back. The preseason pulled Duke, the preseason favorite.
The Dutchers would be another family in that family total wins. I'm not sure what number they're at, but they would be in that list, I would think.
Saunders into double figures with 11. Lewis down the baseline. All right. It's been very quiet these 2 games.
Look at the pressure, too. They've got Virginia almost a half court when they were out there in their offense, and that shot well beyond the three-point line by Powers, who's only 3 of 12 from behind the three-point line all year for that one. Triple-double, but he has a real knack for getting the ball on the boards.
Johnny's have the first 5, and the lob is taken away by Luis. St. John's on the move again. Oh, my. Range. Now 5 of 18 from out there as Omir rejected. That's the 3rd swat for Zuby Ejiofor.
Yeah, St. John's doing an excellent job of collapsing when the ball goes by, so it's not just all the way to the rim. To give you some help or getting a block.
Lewis cashes in. Well, the outside shooting has been the biggest surprise here for St. John's. Rick Pitino was worried that Baylor would have a big advantage on the perimeter. That has not been the case the first 16 minutes of this contest.
But the answer, I guess, to that is you can be a great shooter, but if you don't get any open shots, it's hard to make them.
Lewis with a hand in his face. There's Kadari Richmond probing downhill. Left it short. Second chance around the world and down. Give me your impressions on how much this thing has grown the last handful of years.
Exponentially. I mean, it's growing. I'm so pleased to see how Brooks Downing and his team have come here and did this for us. And, of course, it's quite an economic boost for us.
Now, you're going to have to find a way to get more and more seats in here every year, it appears.
Certainly. We are talking now with Bama.
Pulling Baylor even.
It's a good foul. Got up real high on that offensive board. Rick Pitino can't be happy about that, giving up his second shot again.
Baylor has been dominant on the offensive glass tonight. Corner tray. Drew Washington.
A little cross-court pass just then, and he's a challenger. He will take it on the floor, go after you, and make things happen. Washington will. Really interested to see how St. John's gets off in the first 4 or 5 minutes of this game to see if they can find the chemistry, because New Mexico will throw some defense at you.
R.J. Lewis to the rim. He's led the Red Storm. Off the fake from the elbow. Orvichinen gave it up, and now Richmond so active hands. 6th turnover by the Lobos. R.J. Lewis gives St. John's their first. On the inbounds, Lewis and one.
Rick Pitino lift coming off the bench early on here.
A senior who transferred in from North Texas.
Let's see if it's contagious.
Ejiofor picking. Richmond with a delivery to Lewis.
One of the things about Rick, it's hard to do.
You asked Rick pregame, you still kicking it to the same level. And he is. Richmond to Lewis.
That's yep, goaltending if it didn't go. You want to set things up for a comeback.
St. John's is only 4 of 8 from the line, but you're right. A lot of time on that clock. They only have one more left to give.
Yeah, and just too many opportunities they'll have.
Lewis all the way.
And see, that's part of it right there.
Here's Richmond. Pulls up. Offensive board to Ejiofor. Lewis on the back down. Got his man in the air.
Well, it was the positioning of it with that little ball fake on the right side. Defensively, you're out of position, and somebody else has to help, and they leave deck wide open.
Gets him within 8. 2 on the clock.
Whoa, that was almost the Rick Pitino just then.
Lewis with 6, disjointed here again. Lewis with 4, they brought a double, and he just muscled his way.
Look at that. That's smooth right there.
Nylon. You say that a lot when your shots went down?
I'm not sure if I said nylon because Coach Wright wasn't a big celebrate yourself guy, but I will show some love to my teammates.
Count it.
It's up on the rim. It's killing them right now.
Dunlap off the dribble. Offensive rebound. Richmond plus the foul. 8 to shoot. Sanchez deep range. The rainbow comes up short. Here comes Lewis for St. John's. It's been his night. R.J. Lewis. Oh, man.
Trouble here. Pressure. Can they hang on? Loose ball. It's picked up by Smith. Good look ahead. Lewis, the easy slam.
Johnny's getting.
Returnees for St. John's on the opening tip. And he wins it for St. John's. He and R.J. Lewis, 2 of the top players returning for the Johnnies. Kadari Richmond, the prized acquisition in the transfer portal. It's Lewis lining up a 3, and the guys in the studio were...
And the switch and the weave in the middle ball screen. That's something they worked on hard last night.
Lewis with a timer expiring, misfires, offensive board Scott, and he'll spin out of it with a fresh 20. Lewis, a three, got it.
Well, he looks confident. You see them for multiple years. It's a treat for the fans, and it's just great for the game.
I think it's been something sorely missing, especially in the era of one and dones, as Lewis has
defensive end.
Unselfish play and a more connected St. John's offense than what we saw a year ago. Lewis creating.
That was